Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TrueLife News Show. Today, guys, the DOJ is dropping the hammer right now, and Donald Trump loves it, guys. This is so big. I love it. More arrests have happened by the DOJ. They're finally doing their job. They're finally holding people accountable. The DOJ has just arrested a former congressman that called for the assassination of Trump and Elon Musk and other cabinet members. The DOJ said nope. They investigated him, found out he was part of a child sex trafficking ring, and arrested his butt. This is the America we want. We don't call for our leaders to be taken out. We just want them replaced. But I'm so glad that more arrests are coming because, guys, this is even better. I asked you the question, how long has Washington, D.C. been corrupt? Well, check this out. We have emails that have been obtained by Senator Grassley that show the collusion between Biden, the DOJ, D.C. U.S. Attorney Matt Graves, and Washington FBI to pursue indictments and arrest on Trump's cabinet members, especially Peter Navarro in 2022. We got the evidence, guys, and you think it stops there, guys? Like I said, the DOJ is dropping the hammer. The DOJ is going after everybody in the deep state. More receipts. A new report has revealed that the D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser secretly had Qatar, the country of Qatar, pay a $62,000 luxury trip for her to go to Doha and Dubai, and she tried to cover it up. She got caught by the DOJ. All these paid out, guys. This is what they've been doing. This is what we have been looking for, is that we knew there was corruption. We knew that there was people in Washington, D.C. that were getting paid off. And finally, the DOJ is catching their butts, guys. This is what I'm talking about. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has just changed the rules, guys. They sent out a memo and they said to everyone that has a green card, that has a visa, that you are here as a privilege. And this comes with conditions. They said if you advocate for violence, endorse or support terrorist activity, or encourage others to do so, you are no longer eligible to stay in the United States. Smacking them with the truth. You do not come to America and then protest and say that you want to burn down America. Heck no, especially if you're on a visa. Guys, we got some bombshell news today. I love it. The DOJ is actually dropping the hammer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. We're going to show you everything. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. Guys, y'all are the best. Thank you so much for your support. If you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Join the family here at TrueLife News. We want you here, guys. We want to take care of you with the top news every day. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel, guys. Y'all are the best. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation, guys. We are so grateful for your support, guys. Just want to let everybody know the shirts, we got a limited quantity of our TrueLife News first edition, limited quantities, guys. We just got a few left, so pick you up one. We're so excited with what things are going. Our giving is growing, guys, to these local charities. If you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button. We finally got the DOJ dropping the hammer, arresting people. Guys, the mayor of DC was getting paid. They caught her. We're about to see it in just a moment, guys. I love it. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. Check this out.
You would think after getting absolutely shellacked in the last election, they would have some sort of message, but they don't. And they have one of the oldest and one of the youngest people flying around on private jets talking about oligarchies. They have folks flying to foreign countries to comfort deported gang members and domestic abusers. And what's the message when you challenge them on this?
Do you think more of your Democratic colleagues should be traveling to El Salvador to advocate on behalf of Rodrigo Garcia?
I think you should off. Yeah,
I'm sorry, what, Congresswoman?
Wow.
party of peace, decency, and tolerance, right? And other TikTok famous leaders of their party making the case that anybody who opposes them is akin to a slave owner. That would be Jasmine Crockett making that case. But now we watch potentially one of the highest profile Democrat consultants in American history, as far as I'm concerned, square off with on a podcast with the vice chair of the same party.
I'm not into beating Democrats. I'm into beating Republicans. It'll tell you right to your face. I think it's abominable that you have anything to do with the DNC and you're going to go and raise $20 million to beat other Democrats.
And they're still trotting out the worst candidate in my lifetime
Let's
to tout
go.
the same non-coherent message that cost them the election.
Who saw that video from a couple of weeks ago? The one of the elephants at the San Diego Zoo
my
during
goodness.
the earthquake. So that scene has been on my mind.
Elephants?
Guys, I'm telling you what, the Democrats are in such shambles, guys. Look at this. You don't think that the DOJ, they're finally doing something? Former GA Democrat congressional candidate called for Trump's assassination, arrested in a multi-state child sex trafficking sting, guys. These people are disgusting. They need to be arrested, and I'm so glad that we're finally holding them accountable, guys. This is the America that we want. Not this crazy Democrat. We want accountability, putting America first, and not having these crazy people trying to represent us. Let me know your thoughts.
That's been on her mind since losing the election. And even according to CNN, this was great that they had to choke this one out. If the election were held today, Trump would still win. Roll it.
Who would be doing a better job as president? Guess who comes out on top? Within the margin of error, but comes out on top. This looks a lot like the election result, right? Trump 45%, 2 points ahead of Harris at 43%. 12% say they'd be doing about the same. But this is the key nugget here.
It's
Let's
so
go.
good. Now, don't get me wrong. Look, I love this. There's three sides of the Democrat Party right now. You have the old guard, like the Nancy Pelosi's and Adam Schiff, who understood the process or understand the process. And these are the people who always put like structure over function. But they're being pulled so far to the left by Jasmine Crockett's, the AOC's, Tlaib, all those people, even Bernie still. And then you've got like 25%, give or take, of the Democrat Party that is somewhat reasonable and sane, somewhat, they're still Democrats, and realize that they're hitched to a wagon and they really can't say anything about it, so they just shut their mouth. So what's their sales pitch to the American people? Because they've already distanced themselves from the guy trying to impeach Donald Trump. This guy right here, turns out he's got a ton of baggage. Well, according to their website, we're rolling up our sleeves and organizing for a brighter, more equal future. Together we will stand and elect Democrats up and down the ballot. Okay, how are you gonna do that? If you scroll down, you can even actually buy some anti-Trump merch, and there's a sticker with Trump pointing at something.
Guys, let me tell you this. You know what all the Democrat Party is? It's this right here, guys. Right here. New report shows that the D.C. mayor, Muriel Bowser, secretly let Qatar pay for a $62,000 luxury trip to Doha and Dubai and only tried to cover it up after getting caught. Every single one of these people, guys, that didn't have anything, got to Washington, got paid, and now we find out that they're getting paid and it's all corrupt. Like, who called it? We all did. We knew there was corruption in D.C., and now you're seeing it, guys. These reports are coming out, and I'm so happy. You know why? Because people need to see that a lot of these Democrats, not all of them, but a lot of them, they're not out to help you. They're not out to serve the American people. They're out to get paid. Lay Lewis, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. She said, ooh-wee, it's getting hot in here. I love it. Y'all show Lay some love in the chat. If you appreciate this, guys, hit that thumbs up like button, guys, because we got some great news for you tonight.
I did that. I'm not really clear why this makes sense since prices are down on nearly everything in the first 100 days, but a lot of things don't make sense to me with Democrats. But hey, look, if you take a further peruse to the Where We Stand page, you think this would be more clear, but it just says, Democrats believe that the economy should work for everyone. Healthcare is a right. Our diversity is our strength, and democracy is worth defending. Whatever. Okay, so let's break this down, because it might sound nice, but it's all either dumb, not possible, or, I mean, like, did the Democrats even believe the economy should work for everybody? They say they do, but no, they don't actually believe this by their actions. Let's look at some of the laws they have passed. the Inflation Reduction Act. It led to the greatest inflation increase since Jimmy Carter with critical household items like food.
And remember, guys, Biden literally came out and said, when they said the Inflation Reduction Act, he said, it was really the Green New Deal. We got it through. I got it through. Like a sneaky, I'm telling you, man, I want to hold these people before Congress. I want them to be held in contempt. I want them to be held accountable for lying, using taxpayer dollars for their own personal agendas, guys. I am so ready to see more arrests. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
And gas, up like 50%. They hired IRS agents to go after service workers and anyone who received over $600 in a Venmo transaction. Energy and climate policy shut down critical blue-collar jobs, middle class, bottom up, middle out, in coal and other fossil fuels industry, in big-time states for them, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, places like that. Their national campaign for raising minimum wages led to the greatest layoff program in my generation because it became cheaper to replace all those entry-level workers with technology. The Affordable Care Act, their golden calf, Obama's signature accomplishment, overhauled 1/6 of our economy, doubled the cost of our health care, while kicking tens of millions of people off their existing plans because they unilaterally just up and declared health care a right. It's a service, okay? Healthcare, it has to be served by somebody, but they made everybody think it was a right without thinking about the economic impact of trying to do that. This is my general problem with the Democrat Party. They have all these broad, placid niceties. You go to their issues page. The number one thing on there is climate change.
Climate change.
That's because it's the number one thing that they can use to fearmonger. They can raise a...
Guys, look at this. This is the issues for the Democratic Party. Climate change, democratic accomplishments, economy and jobs, gas prices, gun reform, healthcare, inflation, LGBTQ rights, prescription drugs. Guess what's at the bottom? Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. If you can't see it, guys, it's literally the last one on the list. So whenever I hear these people say, we got to take care of our seniors. We got to make sure we get them an increase. We got to make sure, we got to fight because Trump is cutting Medicare. You have it last on your list. What's more important to you is your climate change, not our seniors. Big hypocrites.
Bunch of money, and they take a bunch of power from us. That's why. They talk about these historic investments in climate change initiative. Those historic investments were, the 7 charging stations they built for $8 billion, some of which still don't work. The high-speed rail that spent billions of dollars on a bridge to nowhere. $42 billion on internet that didn't connect a single house. The number 2 item on their accomplishments, which I think is a little bit out of place, but they talk about creating 14 million jobs under Joe Biden. Again, they haven't updated this website since the election. Shows you where they're at. They might probably because they're bankrupt. But this sounds nice, but doesn't even stand up a little bit to the first bit of scrutiny. Because when they shut down the economy for COVID, they lost 16 million, which means their net carry the 1. They lost 2 million jobs, which is the next tab on that page. There's more work to do, but Democrats' plan to fight inflation and lower costs is working. We're building an economy that works from the bottom up and middle out. There's that phrase again.
The bottom?
What does that even mean?
My goodness.
Everything you did to the economy made it worse. Poor people are poor, and you want to take away the middle-class tax cuts that Trump gave them that would cost each household $2,000 or more a year. The next one.
Guys, I'm bringing the receipts, guys, because again, the party is in shambles. Look at this right here. New emails obtained by Senator Grassley demonstrate the collusion between Biden DOJ, DC U.S. Attorney Matt Graves, and Washington FBI to pursue an indictment and schedule the arrest of Peter Navarro in 2022. After consultation with Maine Justice, I believe Molly Gaston, who is assigned to special counsel Jack Smith's team a few months later to handle the J6 case against President Trump. Well, guess what? Grassley is now asking Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel for all comms between or among all DOJ and FBI personnel related to the contempt of Congress cases. All this stuff right here, guys. We had the receipts. They specifically targeted Trump's cabinet, Trump's people. So when they talk about lawfare, when they talk about, oh, we're losing democracy, Trump is tyranny. No, they executed it 100% during Biden's administration. They 100% targeted Trump's people to send a message to Trump that if he didn't stop, they would do the same to him. And they tried 6 indictments against Trump. But guess what? They all failed. And Trump is now president. And now we are starting to see all the evidence right here, guys. Look at this. Locate him. Get subpoena return from his phone. Issue preservation letter. Prepare a search warrant. Guys, all these things happened under the Biden administration. 100% targeted Trump's people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Down too. This was a good one. Gas prices. I don't know if they realize that they're not in control of anything right now. Again, haven't updated the website since the election. As we build a clean energy future, we also ensure families have access to affordable and gas and energy. The Biden administration worked with oil producers to help reduce gas prices and focused expanding domestic energy production. No, you didn't. None of that. None of this is true because you're not doing and you didn't do any of that. And when you were in charge of the White House, you didn't work with any oil producers. You slowed the drilling for oil in America more than any other administration. Gas prices doubled. And then right before the election, you drained the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in a last-ditch effort to lower prices for votes. They list on that same page, student loan debt. Okay, it says, Democrats are working to ease the burden of student loan debt with measures to forgive loans for eligible borrowers, expanding access to affordable education.
We all know he was trying to buy votes. Plain and simple, he tried to buy 20 million votes with this, guys. 20 million people is how much he was working, even though the Supreme Court told Biden, you can't do this. 20 million people wiping away all their student loans. But thank God, the Department of Education, all of Trump's team is clawing back all that money because it's not right. When you make the choice to go to college, that's on you. Don't put it off on a person who became a truck driver or a plumber or an electrician. No, and they say, well, it's the college's fault. Well, guess what? Nobody made you do it. So I'm so glad, guys, we're exposing all this because, again, the Democrats ripped off the American people for their own benefit for all the deep staters.
Okay, my concern here is twofold. One, again, I don't think their website, again, has been updated. But two, the Supreme Court said you can't do that. But also, what specific measures are you taking to expand the access of affordable tuition? Like, seriously, I've never heard any mainstream Democrat tell schools to lower their tuition. It's always like, oh, we need to loan them more money. Seriously, you cannot show me a single instance of that because they don't. Academia is like their bench for people. All they do is ask Americans, many of which already pay back their student loans, to pay for someone else's. And, this is funny. All the way down at the very bottom of the page, they have a nice little tab for veterans saying, Democrats are dedicated to supporting veterans and their families, ensuring...
But guys, I want to let you know, it's at the very bottom. It's not a priority. It's at the bottom. You know what's above that? LGBTQ plus rights. That's what's above the veterans. This is what bothers me. You always put stuff in terms of priority, guys. And whenever the Democrats talk about priority, all I can say to them is words. It doesn't matter what you say. It matters what you do. It matters that when you step over Americans and you try to help out illegals, just like here, listen to what J.D. Vance says, guys, because I'm telling you, this is the God honest truth and nobody can figure it out.
We knew that there are very well-funded, very passionate, far-left interest groups who love, I don't know why they love it, but they love having violent criminals. They love having 20 million illegal aliens in the United States of America. We don't love that. We were elected to change it. We didn't think it was going to be easy. The president in particular, he said they're going to try to stop us at every single step of the way from deporting the millions of illegal immigrants that Joe Biden let in. But he's doing his job. I'm doing my job, and I think that we're gonna get there.
Boom, baby.
We knew that.
Guys, this just broke minutes ago. Let me tell you this, guys. I'm telling you, if there isn't corruption at the highest level in, not Trump, I'm talking about the previous, You're not going to believe what I'm about to show you. And if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button. Doge and Elon Musk have reportedly uncovered an arsenal of weapons and payments to the Taliban within the Institute of Peace. These individuals have been referred to the DOJ. The Institute of Peace was giving weapons and payments to the Taliban. The Taliban doesn't want peace. This, I'm telling you guys, they've been referred to the DOJ. I am ready to see these arrests because the corruption is so deep, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this because we're only getting started tonight, guys. I'm telling you, this is just a whirlwind of crazy news. Check this out.
I got some issues, okay? Right now, headline New York Times. Texas judge strikes down Trump use of Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans. Let me read it. A federal judge on Thursday permanently barred the Trump administration from invoking the Alien Enemies Act, an 18th century wartime law to deport Venezuelans it has deemed to be criminals from the Southern District of Texas, saying that the White House use of the statute was illegal. The 36-page ruling by Judge Rodriguez, a President Trump appointee, amounted to a philosophical rejection of the White House attempt to transpose the Alien Enemies Act, which was passed in 1798, as the nascent United States was threatened by war with France, into a context of modern-day immigration policy. First, correct me if I'm wrong, brother, weren't you the guy shepherding through these Trump appointees? Who is Rodriguez and how the hell did he get through?
I would ask,
under your watch.
I would ask John Cornyn how Judge Rodriguez
is that true?
Got through.
This is another thing with the Paxton Cornyn. Is it he a Cornyn pick?
He's a Cornyn pick. He's a Cornyn pick.
You do understand this is about to blow up?
Oh yeah.
Because heads in the White House are blowing up on this right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how the hell these judges think that they can tell the president of the United States that he could not expel terrorists from our country, whether the president does it under the Alien Enemies Act, which he has the absolute statutory authority to do, or if he does it as commander-in-chief under Article 2 of the Constitution. So that's what President Trump should say is okay, Judge Rodriguez, you think the president can't expel terrorists?
He said permanently, but this is not an injunction or TRO. This said permanently barred the Trump administration. Yeah, this guy went for it.
That's under the Alien Enemies Act, and if that's a lawless order, it's not following Supreme Court precedent. But if you're going to say if the president can't expel terrorists under the Alien Enemies
No, the judge permanently barred the Trump administration.
I hear you. Yeah. What I'm saying is if this judge is going to tell Trump he can't expel terrorists under the statute, do it as commander-in-chief.
Hang on. And I'm not a lawyer, and I don't try to pretend to play one. You do a great job. But here's my point. I brought up, and I'm saying, here's where we're going, brother, because we're playing patty cake with these guys, and now everything you said is going to happen's happened. Now you get these local judges.
And guys, I'm telling you, the DOJ has got to get involved investigating these judges, because I can promise you they're going to find something. But what bothers me so much is that, just like Bannon said, they're playing patty cake right now. How in the world are we supposed to move forward as a country if at every single turn there's a judge that puts a nationwide injunction stopping the Trump administration for 30 days and keeping him from being able to just even move forward as a president? It is mind-boggling what we're having to deal with. It's never been done before, guys.
They're coming in, and they ain't giving TROs and injunctions. They're saying you're permanently barred. You can't use it. They're ripping you apart, and they're your guys, okay, the guys you picked. This shows you how infested with radicals these law schools are, these big law firms, guys like Cornyn, right? They don't think like populist nationalists. President Trump's done this as commander-in-chief. I'm just saying, brother, the suspend habeas corpus. Lincoln did it. Grant did it. FDR did it. We're going there. Mm-hmm. I know you dismissed me like you crazy man. That we're going to get to the point because this is going to go to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
They're going to back these guys. You know that's happening. ACB is like she wrote this, right? They're going to do it. And so then we're going to have to go back to, President Trump is now the new Abraham Lincoln. Just suspend habeas corpus.
Yeah. Guys, Remember, if y'all don't know what habeas corpus is, it's basically the right to due process, the right to a trial, all that stuff. If you're an illegal alien, you're not here legally, you came in illegally, are you really due habeas corpus? Because they didn't do that during the Obama terms. They didn't do that during the Bush terms, during the Biden terms. No, they just deported them. Not during Biden because he let everybody in. During Clinton, there wasn't no habeas corpus. It was just, hey, you're here legally, you're out of here. If this happens, guys, I promise you, we will be this much closer to a civil war. Because people are going to say Trump is a dictator. He's dismissing this. What's going to happen? I'm telling you, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Because this is about to get as real can get.
In a wartime measure.
If the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, cannot expel designated foreign terrorists who are working with an enemy state like Venezuela, and that's exactly what Tren de Aragua is doing, we no longer have a country. And if you have a federal judge who thinks he has the power to stop the president from expelling these designated foreign terrorists working with an enemy states like Venezuela, our judiciary has lost its legitimacy.
Would the logic here to be expedite going to the appellate court on this and get to the Supreme Court as quickly as possible? Is this the one they will take?
I think the Fifth...
Because this is not Boasberg trying to turn a plane around. This is exactly, I guess, where you sent the planes from. Yeah. So now they got the right location?
Yeah, I mean, I would say this. I think the Fifth Circuit needs to reverse this and reverse this ASAP, because this is lawless and this is dangerous by these activist judges, whether they are Trump appointed or Obama appointed. There's no way in hell the judge can tell the President of the United States he cannot expel terrorists.
Okay, I'm going to make a prediction here. That I've said the convergence, the convergence of these crises, one of them being this constitutional crisis about this very topic. So here's where I think it's going to happen. The 10th anniversary of President Trump coming down the escalator is 15 June. It's 15 June, I believe, 15 June of this next month. This whole thing's going to converge at the Supreme Court in either that day or in the lead up to those days. On the 10th anniversary of Trump basically coming down and saying, okay, and it was in 7th place. And at the end of that, and what was he talking about? Illegal immigration, deporting people. It's the first thing he talked about, that the nation's heads blew up. No politician had ever talked like that. He went from 7th to 1st, and he never looked back. He was always first. Dr. Ben Carson came close one time. But Trump never was tied, never got caught up, because he came down that escalator and talked to the American people like they knew someone had to talk to them like an adult. And this thing's hurtling to the Supreme Court, and we're going to see. But I tell you, what he's going to do is because they're going to back these guys up. ACB's going to back them up. John Roberts is going to back them up. The appellate court's going to back them up. And then we're going to start over. And what President Trump's going to do is suspend habeas corpus as a wartime measure.
So the president has no higher constitutional duty than to secure our border and to expel an invasion. And that's exactly what Tren de Aragua and MS-13 are doing. They are working with our foreign enemies to sabotage our country. And if the president can't do it under the Alien Enemies Act, he needs to do it as Commander-in-Chief under Article 2 of the Constitution. And good luck to a judge trying to tell the president he can't do that.
What will he do there? Suspend habeas corpus?
Just expel them under Article 2. And I would say to...
And what's the technical way? I mean, how do you actually do that?
You say, I'm the Commander-in-Chief.
Get on a plane.
If you look at the Federalist Papers, the president can expel a sudden attack. And that's exactly what's going on with Tren de Aragua. We're going to put Juan on a plane and get him the hell out of our country.
Okay. Can you stick around? I just need you.
Guys, I am so ready for this, guys. Why? Because let me tell you this. I love the truth. I love being able to see that people are coming to the light. I love it whenever we're able to actually say, you know what? A lot of things have been wrong for a long time, and people are starting to wake up. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button. Guys, thank you so much for your support. 1D1, welcome to the family. Let's go. And Sammy Smith, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Sammy Smith some love in the chat. Listen to this.
Is that your way of saying that you felt the left did that to us, that they just disregarded black folks?
Stephen A., they've been giving us the middle finger since I can remember. all the way back from the Ku Klux Klan. They have never supported black people whatsoever. They hoodwinked us into getting us on food stamps and getting us with government assistance, having us to abandon our own success. We had our own bus line. We had our own schools. We had all this stuff. They tricked us into believing that the white man was the cure to our own issues.
Okay.
They tricked us. And then now look at us, Stephen A. They don't have to bid for our vote. They got our vote hook, line, and sinker.
Well,
so they're never going to do nothing for us.
That part I get. But when you say they did nothing, I'm thinking about civil rights legislation. I'm thinking about infrastructure. I'm thinking about Jim Crow laws, the eradication of it. I'm thinking about the access to capital that was given that black folks had dated from the 60s and beyond that we didn't have before that. Are you saying that's the
Republican, unanimous Republican votes for the civil rights. The Democrats filibustered the Civil Rights Act, the longest filibuster in history until Booker just did what he did. Mm-hmm. But the Democrats were not in support of that. That was the Republican Party that was in support of that. And then let's go down the list. If these things were benefiting black people, why are we still complaining today? We've been voting for Democrats for, 40, 50 years.
Guys, and remember, when it comes to the voting for the Democrats, we're talking 85 to 95% of black Americans vote for Democrats. Every single time. Every time. So it's a monopoly that what's happened. And I love it that more black Americans are saying, you know what? We keep doing the same thing and nothing ever changes. We need to change it up. Because listen to what he's about to say now, guys. It's so real. And what I love is it's so common sense.
Now, lockstep, and we still complaining. We still don't have the rights that we want. We still don't have equality in America. Racism is still plaguing our community, according to black people.
Guys.
So what have they been doing this whole time? And when you look at it, they have just secured our vote, and they don't have to do nothing for us. And this is what we've created, Stephen A. We've created an environment where we don't benefit from none of it because the Democrats don't have to work because they know they already got us. The Republicans don't need to work because they can win without us.
Ooh, like, guys, there's a lot of people coming out saying some stuff. And what I love, guys, is again, too, it's just the truth. We're trying to get to the bottom of the truth. And what you're about to see next, guys, Elon Musk is making his exit from Doge. Today was a big parting. A lot of people showing him some love. But there's a big interview coming out where they're speaking with all the Doge team over all the corruption, guys. It is astronomical how much fraud and corruption has happened in the United States, Washington, D.C. Congress. And it's finally getting revealed. Check it out.
Saying namaste after cleaning up the Beltway. Elon has given his exit interview as he gets ready to depart the Department of Government Efficiency. But the billionaire bad boy insisted his transition doesn't mean the Doge mission is over. He said, quote, Doge is a way of life, like Buddhism. Buddha isn't alive anymore. You wouldn't ask the question, who would lead Buddhism? Some guy named Jesse got an exclusive with Musk and Big Balls.
Is Doge just getting started? This is a long-term enterprise.
It's a long-term enterprise because if we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
Yep.
They can Doge when Democrats get back in power.
We're trying to have it be such that the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud.
Do these people not respect taxpayer money?
I mean, there's no incentive to if you work in the government. I think the incentives will always decide the outcomes.
Yes.
And, the way that the payment system is set up is if you ask for money, you're just going to get it.
Wow. Big Balls has big hair. But Doge's greatest legacy could be making it fashionable to cut government waste. Check out Greasy trying to take credit.
I could have easily come in here with sunglasses and, chainsaws. You know where I'm going. We're Doge, but better. And we've been Doge, but better for...
God, geez. Oh my goodness. What the most slickest, slimiest, corrupt politician I think I have ever witnessed. in my lifetime, guys. Listen to how he's just lying. Like, this is what you call a psychopath who can lie with a straight face, doesn't bother him any bit, no conscience whatsoever. You want to know, he said we're Doge but better. You want to know how much California has spent on homelessness? I'm going to pull this up for you guys, because this right here is going to be a guy who's running for the Democratic nominee president in 2028. I promise you that. Think about it like this. In just from 2018 to 2023, in 5 years, California spent $24 billion on homelessness. There's billions of dollars they have no account for. They used federal funds to try and solve the problem, and they're still one of the worst. It's not any better. And for him to have the audacity to say we're Doge but better,
literally 6 years.
Better. Jesse, it is a good question. Will Doge continue with the same momentum and excitement without Musk helming it?
He doesn't want to leave. He's having a lot of fun. He might dial it back a little bit, but he's having the time of his life. He likes these guys that work for him a lot. They had a pizza party before I got there. They were listening to music. He was dancing. And there's like a military camaraderie with this team. And I kept on asking him, like, is this like the end for you? And he's like, where'd you hear that? And I said, well, I heard it in the media. He said, where? Where'd you hear it from? In the media. He said, well, who? I don't think he's accepted that he's leaving. And even if he does take a step back, he'll still be there. He's so involved in this. And that's a good thing because they're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, Judge, the Dems are offering no solution for this impending financial collapse if we don't cut the debt. But they'd rather just lie that he's cutting actual benefits. Why don't they just admit that they should get on board?
Look, only the Dems would act like saving $160 billion doesn't mean a damn thing. Only the Dems would rather hate on Musk than benefit the American people. And only the Dems would predict that there would be all of this trauma and tragedy, that this one's going to lose their Social Security and this one's going to lose their Medicaid. None of that happened. It's all fear-mongering. And, I believe that Musk doesn't want to go. He's also a special government employee after 130 days. But I'm still not clear if those 130 days have to be consecutive, and whether or not he gets more days. But that's really not the point. But Greasy Gavin getting up there and saying, I can do Doge better. And when he honestly started with the sunglasses, I thought he was talking about Biden. But, he says he's going to balance the budget in California. They're bleeding cash in California. In 2023, there was a $46 billion $32 billion deficit. A year later, there's a doubled $46 billion deficit. Newsom needed to borrow $6 billion to keep Medicaid afloat. Medicaid, as we know, we got an additional 2 million illegals on Medicaid. And everybody says, we don't want to take it away. Well, I actually believe if you come to this country, you should be able to provide for yourself if you don't want to work. Otherwise, go home. But that's just me.
Jessica, that is another achievement of Doge. When you have Democrats getting on board by saying we can do it better, that's a win. I mean, we're not, Republicans aren't saying, hey,
guys, I don't even know how to take this, guys. The Democrats coming out saying, no, we can save money better. Oh my goodness. That's like, it's like a thief going into a store, stealing something, leaving, coming back and saying, you know what? I think I can protect this store now. I know I stole from y'all. I know that I took some that I wasn't supposed to do, but you know what? I want to start protecting the store now to make sure that nobody else steals from the store. That's literally what Gavin Newsom just said, literally what the Democrats are saying. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Is this not crazy what we are witnessing, guys? Only Donald Trump and Elon Musk could make people think like this. If you don't mind, guys, if you appreciate this, If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
We're doing this and you aren't. We're saying we're doing this. Why don't you do it too? And having Gavin say that is kind of a victory for everybody.
Story of Doge is that Elon Musk has $38 billion in government contracts, has not had a penny of his money touched while he's going around cutting other people's contracts. And there was a new congressional report out this week that found that he was up for $2.37 billion in potential fines across 11 agencies. And what has he been doing? He has been cutting the people who are investigating him. If that doesn't smell like corruption, I don't know what does.
So, guys, I usually don't show Jessica because, honestly, I don't really like her. I think that she will make an excuse for anything and everything for the Democrats. Elon Musk is leaving Doge. As he's leaving, she says that, well, look, he's cutting everybody else's contracts, yet he hasn't cut his. Yeah, because he's literally just saved how many people that were stuck in space because of Biden? He's literally helping us in our entire infrastructure for internet with SpaceX and Starlink. Like, to me, it blows my mind that Fox has her on there. And I know they got to have somebody who has a different opinion than everybody else. But this, to me, hearing this, like, I'm so glad you're about to hear what Judge Janine says.
Fine. Let's make sure that he gets a fine before you start saying he's up for a
If you
fine.
get rid of the investigator, you were an investigator,
I
right?
certainly was.
Okay,
and
so
you
if there's
don't
a
make an
potential crime
accusation
and then
unless
you
have the
fire,
evidence to prove it.
It's all laid out, by the way, in the pages of the
First
Great
of all,
Lady.
he had all those government contracts before he even went into Doge.
And he makes, I think, $8 million a day while 20,000 federal workers are getting fired, while Head Start
maybe we don't
program.
need
He's
them.
like,
Kaylee, please respond to Jessica's falsehoods, a litany of them.
So one of my favorite words is facts. In fact, if you go into my office, I have a big sign that says facts. It was my moniker at the podium. Yeah, they made shirts with facts and Kaylee's face on it. Anyway, AP fact check. Trump, here's the claim. Trump ran up the debt by more than any president in American history. AP, not a friend of the administration. We can all agree on that. Remember,
Gulf of America?
Caroline got them out of the press room, at least in the events that are covered in the Oval Office. AP's assessment, no friend of Trump. That's incorrect. The debt incurred during the Trump era was very high, but in terms of raw dollars, the total debt rose more under former President Obama, with Trump in second place, which is why you didn't mention Obama.
And plus, we had COVID.
Yes, plus we had COVID.
Yeah.
Plus another fact bomb for Gavin Newsom. You brought up the deficit numbers. The debt, $1.6 trillion in debt in California when you look at unfunded liabilities, $125,000 per household in California, bigger than the GDP of every country in the world except 13. That's the debt in California, Gavin. So, boom, again.
Guys, let me tell you this. If there's anything that makes me happy, guys, it's getting to show you all the facts. I have to show you this because what I love is that when people bring to the attention of the corruption that's happening, this right here, I told you, the DC corruption is real. It's been happening for a long time. Listen to this.
Who is paying for DC Mayor Muriel Bowser's trips around the world? We've been asking that question for months now and have gotten different answers from the mayor's office.
Now, I-Team reporter Scott Taylor has uncovered the nation of Qatar paid for the mayor and 4 staff members to travel to its country. This was in 2023. Scott, what else are we learning about where this money came from?
Well, we're talking about a lot of money, Michelle, almost $62,000. We discovered that from a letter from the Embassy of Qatar to the mayor's office. The mayor's office told us twice who paid for the trip, and both times what they said just wasn't true.
Wow.
DC tells 7 News it doesn't have any travel expense records filed by DC Mayor Muriel Bowser for trips to the Masters Golf Tournament, Las Vegas, Dubai, Miami, or Mar-a-Lago. All trips taken within the past 3 years. In December 2023, Bowser and 4 staff members, including her chief of staff, Lindsay Parker, took a trip to Doha, Qatar. They attended the United Nations Climate Conference in Dubai. Only 2 travel expense records have been filed. Parker appears to be doing what's required by DC code, but it's not cheap. She cost taxpayers $3,500 for a 3-night stay at the Atlantis Palm Hotel in Dubai. A 2-night stay at the Loft Hotel in Dubai for $1,300 was also filed by Thomas Delamonte, DC's Director of Intergovernmental Affairs.
God.
Last year, Suzanne...
Do y'all see this, guys? They use federal funds, they use taxpayer dollars, and they go and they live these lavish lives. Why do you think that all these people want to be in Congress? You really think they're like really care about serving the people? No, there's a lot of perks. And with those perks, there comes the use of taxpayer funds. And that's why what you're about to see next, guys, this is what I want to see, is accountability. I'm so tired of seeing our hard-earned money. Guys, we go to work 40, 50 hours a week. We're busting our butt. We're waking up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. We're paying our taxes. And then the people in Washington, D.C. or elsewhere are going to all these lavish trips, staying at these lavish hotels. Oh, charge it to the taxpayer, $1,300 a night. When was the last time you stayed somewhere where it was $1,300 a night? Because I can tell you this, I've never done that. It's astronomical. The money that type of money, $1,300+ a night, and not just for themselves, for their staff members. The corruption is real, guys. That's why when I see this, guys, I'm so ready for this to happen. Listen to this.
Bills that we are debating in the House and in the Senate as we speak. Now, for the average viewer out there, you don't understand what we're talking about. Let me put it in basic terms. The reconciliation process is a part of the Budget Control Act, which basically gives us the ability to reconcile current policies with what we're dealing with respect to our spending, debt, deficits, right? We have to make that all add up, and we're supposed to do that in a way that would yield deficit neutrality or deficit reduction. That's the general purpose of why we have reconciliation. Reconciliation, though, because there is a 60-vote threshold in the Senate, and that means certain policies that the majority wants to get in place in the House and the Senate, if they control both chambers, often hit resistance by the minority party in the Senate, that then reconciliation is used to end run what we call the filibuster, even though it's really just a 60-vote threshold, end run that in order to get policy, even though we're supposedly not doing policy on reconciliation. That is how stupid your Congress is, America. That's how you're developing policy, through a bunch of arcane procedures, some of which are great and designed to have cooling effects, some of which are really stupid. But what we're doing is trying to find every which way possible to avoid accountability and responsibility. And that is, as I've been putting it around here to reporters and getting reported out, to do basic math. Because that is, in fact, our obligation, is to do basic math. And unfortunately, a whole bunch of my colleagues on the Democrat side of the aisle and a whole bunch of my colleagues on the Republican side of the aisle refuse to do basic math. They want to say that through magic fairy dust and through money trees, they can just wish away the reality that we're going to have a certain amount of inflows and a certain amount of outflows every year. And you want to know why we're $37 trillion in debt, or soon to be? That's why. Now, we're having a big debate, America, on what we should do in this so-called reconciliation process. We are going to have tax policy in there that's going to affect our tax revenues to the government, but more importantly, affect the tax bill you receive. Let me stipulate for the record, when I am attacked a lot in the coming weeks for saying allegedly I want to have tax cuts go up or have taxes go up, I am emphatically for cutting taxes. I would like to zero out the tax code, eliminate the income tax, get rid of the IRS. I would like to do all of those things, and I have legislation to do it. And I will vote for tax cuts, but I refuse to ignore math. If you're going to do a certain amount of tax cuts, which will create a certain amount of economic growth, yes, you still have to model how much revenue will come into the Treasury versus how much you're spending. Because my Republican colleagues love to spend. They campaign on tax cuts. They deliver on most of the tax cuts. They campaign on balancing the budget and cutting spending and never do it. Ever.
Guys, this is what I love, guys, because I like to know the facts. I like to bring you the receipts. The things that he's showing you and what we're talking about, this is what I love. Because if you don't have people that 100% call it out, then we're always going to be lied to. We're always going to have the wool pulled over our eyes because Donald Trump can't do everything himself. Elon Musk can't do everything himself. Congress, to me, is the worst of the worst in DC. Congress is. Why? Because you have all these representatives out of all the United States. And you know what? I think there's 450 representatives? And what they do is spend, spend, spend. They don't have a balanced budget. They don't actually put things that are actually going to put America first. You got Congress people earlier this week that were advocating for people to get gold medals for hockey players. Instead of focusing on getting Doge checks on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, they were taking up the congressional floor time trying to get gold medals for hockey players. It makes me sick, guys. I think the biggest corruption that we have is that Congress. Now, an outlier like Chip Roy who is willing to stand up and say, hey, these are the facts. This is what we got to do. It's plain and simple. It's just numbers.
In the history of ever, with the possible exception of the late 1990s, when the Gingrich Republicans combined with Clinton and, by the way, a dot-com economic explosion to deliver us a balanced budget. And they did it through welfare reform and through some spending constraint. And that is the only time in modern history when we've done it. Here's the problem. This chart shows you what we're dealing with. A whole lot of people are saying, well, Chip, you and all these fiscal hawks, these fiscal conservatives, you guys want to do all these massive cuts, and we can't do it. And it's crazy what you want to do. Let me be clear what we're talking about. We're currently running close to $2 trillion deficits. If we do all of the crazy stuff we're trying to do, we will be running what? Close to $2 trillion deficits. That's the truth. That's what the models show. That's what we know. So look here. These are the projections of the way things will be if we do nothing. The blue line, we do nothing this year. We let the tax cuts expire, taxes go up. Let me repeat, I'm against that. Taxes go up, revenues are projected to do what they do, and we will have the amount of debt over the next 10 years you see here, growing from almost 30-something trillion dollars, growing all the way up to $50 trillion, okay?
In 10 years, if we don't do something, $50 trillion in debt. And you know who holds most of that debt, everybody? China. This is some real stuff, guys. And this is the thing. I'm showing this because to me, I care. If we don't get out and let everybody know, everybody, trust me, we spend so much wasteful money on the stupidest things we've revealed with Doge. We have so much fraud, waste, and abuse. But yet, when it comes to actually showing the facts, everybody doesn't want to talk about it. But this is what's actually happening. Thank you so much, Queen of Yeshua, for the super chat. Let's go. And Sherry Garcia, thank you so much. Said deportation D-Day, June 15th. And Sharon Holt, thank you so much for the super chat. Said Attorney General Bondi needs to get on the move. We're ready. And Mr. Tracy J. Norby, OG of the channel, said I passed through the streets on the main drag of my city. Democrats protesters were out like 1,500 in all of their heads, but I gave them all the double barrel one finger salutes for the protest of how evil they think Trump is. They're nuts. Mr. Norby, you better be safe, brother. Guys, y'all show them some love in the chat. And thank you so much, Scott Matthews, for the super chat. Guys, show them some love in the chat, guys. This is crazy.
Now, what do these other lines represent? The orange lines, those lines are the House bill. The red lines were the Senate bill. Well, we just did a thing where we combined the House and the Senate bill into one budget. We're now negotiating that, and this is all yet to be determined. Why am I saying all this? No one wants to read all this. Nobody's going to pay attention to a chart. All my staff, everybody says, don't use charts on the floor. Just go down and say things that will get clipped and sent around. Well, let me try to say something that will get clipped and sent around. Even if the House Republicans are successful in working with the president and the Senate to achieve the $1.5 to $2 trillion in spending restraint over the 10-year budget window, which is a mere $150 to $200 billion a year, even if we're successful, we're going to massively increase the debt in the United States all the way to well over pushing $50 trillion by the end of this budget window. That's it. If we fail, then debt will go up a little higher. We have an obligation to do better.
Yes.
Everything we're fighting for right now in the House is for crumbs. I haven't decided whether I'll vote for it or not vote for it. Why? Because I'm one vote out of 220 Republicans. I'm one vote, and I got to figure out how we build a majority and how the Senate builds a majority and then work with the White House to get a bill signed. I recognize that. But there is a limit that I can accept.
Yep.
And so somebody asked me, I just want the whole world to tell me, should I vote for a bill if we're successful at fighting for what we're fighting for? On Medicaid reforms, on unwinding the student loans, on cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, on finding savings and fees on illegal aliens here so that we can pay for continued enforcement of the law at the border. If we're successful in all of those things in terms of revenues and expenses, I'm still going to burden my kids and grandkids with over $50 trillion in debt. All right, what does that mean? Well, it means more interest. It means likely higher inflation, because at some point we can't afford this. That's the fundamental question.
Guys, we can't afford it. Something has to be done. I want you to listen to one of the leaders, guys. Our boy Mike Johnson. Because I think the more that we listen to him, he's riding the coattails of Trump. He's only doing stuff whenever he's supposed to do it. And I feel like we need a new speaker. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, check this out.
President summed it up pretty well tonight. Main Street, not Wall Street. Protect the middle class, not the political class. The Republican Party really now has become the party of working men and women, and I view the Democratic Party as the party of radical extremist coastal elites that are just completely out of touch, as evidenced by Chuck Schumer's 17% approval rating and Democrats in general in the 20s.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Sean. We had a great day on Capitol Hill celebrating the first 100 days. We summarize it in 4 simple words: promises made, promises kept. All that negative coverage by the mainstream media has not affected President Trump's performance, because he got elected to perform and do a job, and he is doing it in spades. And what I said was, I think he's achieved more in the first 100 days than most presidents do in a lifetime. I think it's objectively a fact. You can show it in every metric, everything he's done. So many executive orders, so many bold actions taken from the White House, restoring America's strength on the world stage, getting rid of the policies and crazy regulations of the Biden administration, unwinding the mess. He's off to a great start, and we are just getting started, and that's why we're also excited to deliver on the rest of the Trump agenda.
You think about this: securing our borders, getting rid and deporting illegal immigrants, eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse, moving towards energy dominance, trying to find a way, thread the needle and get peace in Europe, peace in the Middle East, rebuild our military, make it safer at home and abroad for Americans. These are all big agenda items. There's nothing small about what he's trying to accomplish here. Now the issue, we were just talking to the majority leader. Where do you stand on this bill? There's one big, beautiful bill. I understand July 4th is the target date, but you have a small majority. Where do you stand with members? You're talking to them every day, because I know there are different views.
Yeah, there are different views, of course, but we're right on schedule and right on target. We're moving this very aggressively because we have to. We've got to deliver for the American people. And the one big, beautiful bill has so many components. All of it is necessary. All of it's important, and all of it is timely. So Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, said yesterday that July 4th was, it'd be great to celebrate all the tax cuts and all the other achievements by then. I'd like to do it sooner, Sean. So the update is, I'm sure the leader told you, we've got 7 committees doing markups of their various pieces of the legislation this week. We'll have 4 other committees in the House doing that same work next week. The third week, we'll have the Budget Committee merge all that together into one big, beautiful bill, and we'll send that over to the Senate. We want to move this aggressively because it will stabilize the markets. It will be a turbo boost to the economy. It will restore, again, helping us restore the peace through strength principle. And it will show the country that Republicans are serious, that they made the right choice. We had a demographic shift in the 2024 election, as you know. New voters, new categories of folks who joined the party. We're going to demonstrate for them they made the right choice, and they're going to stay with us, and we're going to fix this country.
Do you have any worries, any concerns at all that factions might split off? Are you confident that the members will understand they're not going to get everything that they want, that they have to work within the confines of the reconciliation process established in the Senate, and that can be restrictive?
Yeah, every one of the House Republicans are committed to delivering for the people. And we have different preferences and ideas, but that's kind of the beauty of the process. But we're working together as one team, and I'll note as well, the House and Senate Republicans are working together seamlessly as one team. I know that's an innovation. I know it doesn't happen a lot in Washington, but we understand the stakes are so high, and we cannot fail in the mission, right? So we're meeting constantly, we're coordinating. That's going to be the secret to this. And President Trump is a hands-on leader. One of the things we're celebrating this first 100 days is his direct involvement in this. I mean, he's the most consequential leader. The Atlantic magazine, which is no fan of the president, I don't know if you mentioned it yet tonight, but they described him yesterday as, one of the most, I think they said he's the most powerful leader of the 21st century. And that's a publication that's not a fan of his. It's true, and he's going to deliver this, and we're going to make it happen for the people.
Guys, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Let me tell you this, because it's coming. Like, if they don't get things done fast, if the Supreme Court doesn't get their act in order, guys, this is going to take over Donald Trump's presidency. Donald Trump will not be able to do anything. Nothing will get accomplished. No reconciliation bill will fully be pushed through the way that it's supposed to be if they're tied up in lawsuits. Democrat NGOs have sued Trump over 205 times since he has taken office. This right here, guys, I'm telling you, it's such a drain on because guys, this is using American taxpayer dollars. If you didn't know, they have millions that they received before USAID was shut down, and they're using all that money to sue Trump, to bring back USAID, to bring back all the departments that Trump demolished and basically got rid of because it was just waste. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys, because never has a president come in to come clean house like Trump like this before, guys. Susan P. Anderson, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said it's from Ray Anderson. Let's go. Y'all show Susan and Ray some love in the chat. Guys, this, and again, too, I'm thinking about what's going to happen next because I don't fully trust Mike Johnson. I think we need a new speaker. Let me know your thoughts. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching. To all of our subscribers and viewers, guys, thank you so much for your support. I want to say if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at True Life News. We want you here, guys. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting that thumbs up like button, we are so grateful, guys, for all your support. To all of our members, to all those that give a super chat, guys, we are growing this family. And it's such a blessing, guys, because what we're doing is we're growing our giving every single month. And it's changing lives. And that's where my heart's at. I want us to continue to grow, that one day I can say on this channel, guess what? Guess what, family? We just donated $100,000 to a local charity, and we are spreading good in this world, guys. I'm so excited, and okay, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. One day, we're going to have our own charities. We're going to have our own, guys. It's in my heart. I want to do it. I think it's the right way to go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Want to give some love to Lay Lewis, 1D Sum 1, Sammy Smith, Queen of Yeshua, Sherry Garcia, Sharon Holt, Scott Matthews, and Susan P. Anderson, guys. Show them some love in the chat. Guys, if the system won't get fixed, we'll create our own systems, and we'll fix it, and we'll bring good in this world, and we'll take care of the seniors and the kids and those that need help, guys. This channel will do it, and we'll keep growing, and that's how we'll make it happen. I love you all. Appreciate you so much. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.